So Steve and I were hired on the same day back in December of 2001. And we were hired to run a side project for Wavetronix called Fastcast. Steve was hired as the news director and photographer, and I was hired as the editor and producer. I remember sitting with David and Terry, and they were telling me about this other person that they'd hired for Fastcast, and we're going through his resume, and I remember being extremely intimidated, by this professional photojournalist who had won an Emmy and had worked for Cairo TV in Seattle and CNN in Atlanta, and thinking I was like way out of my depth. We had a morning TV news show to produce every day, and for quite a few months we did it with just two people. The two of us basically did what most TV stations have teams and teams of people to do.
The contract that we had been given, that we agreed to, was just a really difficult contract. So I came in to renegotiate it and see if I couldn't reposition us with KJAZ a little bit better. And I failed miserably. I mean, the contract, absolutely, I could not renegotiate it effectively for us at all, which resulted in the death of Fastcast.
David was very gracious. He let Steve and I know that we had jobs with him for as long as we wanted. And we took him up on the offer and moved to the office in Provo. And I became the PR guy for Wavetronix, and Steve became the marketing director for Wavetronix. And we proceeded to try and build a reputable marketing department for this startup company.
I started with Wavetronix 15 years ago, and I remember Steve was one of the people that interviewed me, and I was really nervous, first job out of college, and hadn't interviewed very much, but I immediately felt at ease with Steve, and I appreciate that, and it's been that way ever since.
Back in the day, we would do an annual dealers meeting. Those often included some fun video opportunities. We did a spoof of The Office once. We did a spoof of Mythbusters once.
Remember, don't try any of this at home.
Because we are what you would call experts.
Probably our biggest video was the Matrix launch video, where we spoofed the movie trailer for The Matrix.
Have you ever had a dream, Neon? A dream that you knew was impossible? What if you woke up from that dream and found intersection traffic had changed for the better?
So I got to play Infinity instead of Trinity because it was a car thing, right? And that was really fun. So he directed me and filmed, and we had some fun running down hallways with flashlights, and I was like carrying a sensor. That actually was really fun, though.
He takes his commitment to Wavetronix very seriously. Protecting the Wavetronix brand and the Wavetronix story, and being clear about how we tell the story has always been very important to him. And I'm not sure that a lot of people know that or would recognize that unless they had the chance to work with him.
I remember there was a time when, I was new to the company and we were preparing for a trade show, and we had this hot sheet that we had to get out very quickly. And so, Don worked really quickly on the writing, and we got everything done. and the design finished. I worked with the printer, expedited that so we could get it back just in time for this trade show. And it was delivered, so I had this sigh of relief and was excited. I took the package of these finished hot sheets and I put it in front of Steve's door so that he would see it first thing in the morning the next day. And got back to work the next day and nobody could find them anywhere. And turns out the cleaning crew had thrown them away, thought they were trash and just threw them away. But I was sure that I was going to get fired at that point because, new to the company. And but Steve said, we can fix this. This is no problem at all. And we just worked, and it's the emphasis is always on people, always on, the work is important. The work, we have to get it done. We have to make money. We have to take care of our clients. But he cares about individuals, and that's something that I hope to carry forward. I didn't get fired either, so here I am.
He's taught me that it's okay, that there's room for compassion and some humanity in business.
I was trying to think through all the number of times he's come to me, sharing a concern about somebody and how maybe they're being treated or what we could do to help them out. Like, he's always going to bat for people. It doesn't matter like what level or anything like that. He's just definitely gonna have their back.
When my mom had cancer and I first came over to the department, right? And I was like, Steve, what can I do? Because, she doesn't have any help on Wednesdays, and so he's like, well, why don't you, and I asked him, is it okay, if I work from home on Wednesdays and work from my mom's house? And so someone there to be with her, right? And he said yes. And, at first we were only thinking it was going to be a few months, but it ended up going on for a whole year, right? But he had the trust in me that I was going to get my work done and I was going to perform. And I did, and he was happy with it. And so it just ended up being one of those situations that, he put people first. And that was something that, I always appreciate about Steve. It's not just about delivery, right? It was about me as a person.
It's been really awesome to be able to work at the same company as my dad. Even though we don't work closely together that often, just being able to see him all the time. We go to lunch a lot, and it's nice always having that source of support at work. I know I can always go talk to him about anything if I'm having a rough day or whatever.
He's a fantastic sounding board. I'm going to miss being able to go in there and just vomit out all my problems for him to listen to and help me solve. He's a great sounding board. His people skills are fantastic. I'm going to miss being able to go down the hall and just be able to do that because he's been great for me. He's been a mentor for me in a lot of different ways. I'm going to miss having him around.
I just absolutely have loved working with Steve. I wish him all the best in his future as a retired employee, but probably will always be thinking of him and in what I do, how can I be more like Steve?
Steve, you've been a great friend and mentor. You will continue to be. We appreciate all of your work you've done for Wavetronix and the environment that you've created in marketing. You're truly a treasure, and we've all been lucky to associate with you. So thank you for all your work.
Yeah, he's emphasis on people, and there have been times where Steve and I, we've been together for 15 years, and there's been times where we've disagreed on things, of course. But even when we were at odds with each other, I always felt like Steve was on my side. He's a great example of caring personally about people, and he lives that.
I tell you, I love it. I love to see people who make a difference, who really come in and make a difference, and Steve is one of those people. So I'll leave it at that.
He's been a great manager, a great friend, and we wish him the best in retirement. We're going to miss him a ton. He's going to leave a big hole here, but hopefully the things that he's taught us will carry forward.
We have laughed a lot together. We laugh a lot. We've cried some together. We've celebrated together. We've mourned together. We've seen each other at our best and at our worst. The marketing department is going to change pretty dramatically, and some of the changes are really exciting and some of them are kind of scary. But for me personally, Wavetronix is never really going to be the same. I'm going to miss my friend.